What's up, everyone? Welcome. Battle of the Beasts is on. Mike D versus CHAO. Mike D and CHAO versus Blake Baker and Brett CAVAZOS from Spokane. Good first matchup here Saturday morning. Welcome, everybody. I'm coming to you straight out of Twin Falls, Idaho, waiting for my first match over here in the Warmo. Decided to pop in and just maybe do a little bit of commentary for you guys. Just going to do a sound check. Let me know if it sounds okay. Hit that share button, hit the like button. And a scratch on break from Baker. And against any one of these teams that's there today, scratch on break almost always results in a loss. Let's see if SHUCHENG and Mike can navigate through. Doesn't really have a whole lot of issues here. Everything kind of leads to the other. I do think SHUCHENG did not want to be on the inside angle on the 2-ball. That's going to force Mike to have to move the cue ball more than he wants to here. He's looking to come around essentially this way off of the 2-ball rather than... Nope, he's trying to hold for it. Wow. That was tough to do, trying to hold it rather than go around those balls, and that could be a big mistake. SHUCHENG really close to the 3-ball. He's going to have to throw it a little bit. And now he's looking to see if the scratch is in play as well on the throw shot. He's playing safety here. I can see it now. He's going to try to bring this cue ball 2-3 rails behind the 5. Just thinning the 3 so it doesn't move too much. Try to get in behind the 5-10. He does, but it's not as successful as I think he wanted it to be. It looks like Brett CAVAZOS at the table. He's going to call the 10 ball. Maybe they're going to have a little conference about it to make sure that they're on the same page. But yep, he's calling the 3-10 combo. Now, and it works out pretty good. So it looks like Mike D's going to have to bring his jump cue out for this one. And a scratch. Okay. Definitely more innings than I expected in this rack after the scratch on break from Baker. But now they're right back in line to win the rack with this run out. All right, gotta avoid the 8 ball. He does successfully there. And Blake Baker does not take a ton of time. He knows what he wants to do, but he's got on the wrong side of this 8 now. He's just telling him, just go ahead and come short side on the 9 ball, and I'll play it up table. Don't worry about it. And Brett does a great job. Just got to watch the knuckle of that side pocket. Make sure it passes that cleanly before it touches the rail. And it does. And a 2-1 lead goes to Brett and Blake. And SHUCHENG and Mike D to break this next rack, so it is alternate break. And this is the Battle of the Beasts Scotch Doubles Tournament. They're using 2 bars right now in the beginning. They're going at Jammers and Phil's in Salem, Oregon. And this one is played at Phil's on table 2. If you go to the EvoSports streaming channel, you'll see there's other live matches. We have 2 live stream tables at Phil's and 2 live stream tables at Jammers that are going on right now. Okay, 2 ball down, 8 ball down. Very successful break from SHUCHENG. Mike is a little straight on the 1 ball. But I think he should be able to manufacture a little angle here and probably wants to bring the cue ball, just drawing it just up into this area. I think he has a slight angle, so he just wants to avoid that 6 ball. If you bump the 6, you can get a little bit funny. That's perfect. Got a nice little angle for SHUCHENG to get back from the 3 to the 4. Oh, a missed 3 ball from SHUCHENG. You don't see that very often. So could be the morning rack, morning match blues, as we might call it. Pretty tough for pool players to play at 9 o'clock in the morning. Takes a little bit to get feeling your stroke. But he got away with it, potentially. Let's see what Blake has got in order here. This is where the Scotch doubles teams can come in handy. You get to choose who you want to have shoot the first shot. And Blake, being the much higher Fargo, is going to take this one on. Some people like to jump these, but it's very difficult to jump that and stay on the table. But he's also got to get shape on the 4. So he's going to kick, probably do the kick and stick here and try to hold the cue ball behind the 9. Yeah, that was a touchy shot. You had to hit it at a kind of a slower pace. But I don't think that he's sold out the pocket to the top left corner. I believe the 5 ball is in the way of that shot. And the safety is very difficult here for Mike, so he might have to cut this to the bottom left if there's no room. So he is trying to play the safety. He doesn't successfully hide the ball. Just giving up a bank shot or a return safe. Looks like a return safe. Nope, Brett's firing at that. I was kind of thinking he was going to come off the top of that ball and try to bring the cue ball down, into this path somewhere to get it clustered up with a ball. But he decided to try to stiffen up that bank and stay at the table. So now SHUCHENG with a combo. Who all's out there watching? I just see a few people in the viewer count here. Still early in the morning, so if you are watching, hit the share button. Send that link out. Three, 4 combo. Pretty wired up here for SHUCHENG. Nicely done. Center pocket. And we're looking at a tie game. Unless something funny happens. So Mike just waiting for the traffic to clear on the other table. Oof. Looked like he rubbed the edge of the knuckle there of the pocket. Probably check this with some inside. Nope. Go around the other way. That's perfect. Natural. And I can tell already that SHUCHENG does not quite look as dialed in as he normally is. Seen an early miss from him, and that 10 ball was just kind of not really dead center in the pocket, not being too critical, but usually SHUCHENG is highly accurate, and I think he's just getting his stroke dialed in first thing in the morning here. And I'll try to pop in today from time to time, maybe do a little bit of commentary here or there. Like I said, I'm out in Twin Falls, Idaho, about 10 hours away from you guys. Sitting in my car outside the pool hall. Got my laptop open. And dang, heck of a break from Baker there to completely scatter the rack. Gets a pretty good spread. The opener is a little difficult. That 8 ball is going to come into play for Brett. He's got to set up on the 5, from the 2 to the 5. Bump the 7 would be nice, and that was beautiful. Pockets the 8 as well. One less ball to deal with. But that little nudge on the 7 is going to really help him out. Getting from the 6 to the 7 now is much, much easier. Brett CAVAZOS and Blake Baker coming out of Spokane, Washington, coming all the way down to Salem, Oregon to compete in this event. $500 buy-in. Added money. All right. This 10 ball to complete the break and run and take the lead 3-2. Taking care of business.
Introducing EvoSports, the future of live streaming. It's now easier than ever to stream and share your action. We use the best equipment for high-quality HD image. Invite a commentator from anywhere in the world. EvoSports is the evolution in billiards entertainment. Live streaming has never been easier. Simply enter your name, add your race length, and start your stream. Join us on YouTube at EvoSports Streaming or at evosports.live.
All right, and we're back in action. SHUCHENG and Mike D trying to repay the favor of the break and run. Try to keep this game going, and it looks like this could be a dry break, and it is a dry break. And an opportunity for the 1-9 combo for Blake Baker to get started with this rack. And I'll tell you, with these level of players at this skill level, it comes down to the break more than you think. The team that's breaking the best is typically the team that wins these matches. And Blake has a hell of a break. You saw it on the last one, pocketed 3 balls. Nice nudge on the 5 to get a look at the 1. He's good. Has to get down and check. He's directing traffic for Brett where he wants to be. Brett's got to watch out for that 7 ball. If he comes in, you could easily get stuck behind the 7 here, and he wants to make sure that doesn't happen. This is probably going to be the toughest shot of the rack, potentially. Bump the 7. Yeah, he's going to come too far past it. At least he's not stuck behind it. This is a pretty standard bank shot for Blake. And I think if he puts the right English on this, he should be able to get shape maybe where the cue ball is now off of this bank shot. It's going to be tough, though. You got a lot of traffic in the way. The 3 ball is on the rail. A lot going on here with this shot. Let's see how he comes out. Doesn't make the shot. But does he get it safe? It's close. It's real close. So let's see if SHUCHENG or Mike D comes up. Not sure who they're gonna decide to take this one, but they might have to go rail first on this 2 ball, being how close it is, which is not ideal because that's going to send the cue ball into the 10 ball area. So you might choose to try to masse this if it's close rather than going rail first, just because the masse will give you better position on the 3. If you go rail first, it's going to be really tough to get on the 3 unless you kind of come full into the 10. He is going rail first. Beautiful shot. Beautiful shot from Mike D right there. Rail first on the 2 ball, holds the cue ball, doesn't get it in trouble. I kind of assumed that the cue ball was going to travel quite a bit more. That was well executed. So I think he wants that 3 rail position to play the 4 in the bottom right corner. Now he's drawing this. Wow. That's going to get in trouble. I guess he just didn't like going forward the 3 rails. It looked like there was a pretty good path to get around those balls. But yeah, this is going to be tough. So Mike's got he's calling the side, but I don't think he really wants to make this. I don't know if he's going to really have much shape on the 5 afterwards. If he's kicking this into the side pocket, that cue ball might come back to where it is right now and get behind the 8. It might be more advantageous to kick and miss it, but you got to hide the cue ball. That was a tough spot to be in. SHUCHENG just got a little too much draw on that previous shot. And now pretty straight in 4 ball. Doesn't look like there's much angle. If there is a little angle on it, it might be a little tougher for Brett. And Blake is down there coaching. He might be playing a safety. It looks like that's what he's kind of coaching him to. Nope. He said stun it. That's a good shot. Stunning it and coming into the 6. That worked out pretty good, I think. Blake should have this 5, enough of it to pocket it. Oh, he's banking. He's going to bank it for better shape. I think he could cut it, but the shape is not going to be as easy. If he banks it, he's going to get automatic shape on the 6. And that one went in no problem. So good job from Blake and Brett to take full advantage of the positional error from SHUCHENG earlier in the set, or earlier in the rack. And we got a 4-2 ball game. Stay in this thing. If Brett and Blake start building up a lead and they're breaking so good, it's going to be really tough to beat them. Because with alternate break, there's not a lot you can do. Every other rack, you just got to sit and watch, basically. And hope they make a mistake. But this very easily here could be 5-2 after this. Uh-oh, I just spoke too soon. And there's an error from Brett CAVAZOS. And that is exactly what SHUCHENG and Mike needed to stay alive in this match. So they got a little funny on the 4-ball here. It's so Mike's going to have to move this cue ball, either come into the 5 or go short side on it, unless he wants to go, yeah, short side on the 5. That's the right play. Just take your medicine. SHUCHENG is more than capable of taking care of this. He might want to stun this and hit it with a little bit of pace to stun the cue ball off the rail a little bit. Looks like he has a slight angle on the 5, but that stun shot here, hitting it hard, can cause you to miss by rattling the pocket. Let's see if he's going to go forward so he doesn't have to stun it as hard. That's a smarter play. And then Mike just going to take that 8-ball and bring the cue ball off the side rail and back to the 10 for the top right corner. Not a lot of angle here, so I think Mike's going to have to hit this with some pace as well. So this is a missable shot. These can get a little nervy. Okay. I wasn't expecting him to try to come straight into the 10. That worked out. It could have ended up really poor, but it worked out really well for Mike. Hitting that with a little bump on the 10. And that works out okay. Shucheng and Mike get away with that one and make it 3-4 with the break. Control of the table, able to tie the score up if they're successful with the break and run on this next rack. All right, so tough shot here from Mike. He's got to be jacked up a little bit, being cue ball's close to the rail, and he wants to draw this. get decent shape on the 3. That's pretty well done. The trick here is the 4 ball, and yeah, I think you really just anywhere out in here, you're going to be good on that 4 ball. I think that's kind of your target zone. But he's going to be coming off the 9, and that's the problem. Is when you're coming off the 9 ball, it gets a little bit unpredictable as to where that cue ball is going to go. So we'll see how that pans out. They're going to be having a little bit of a conference to decide how they want to play this. They could also play a safety here and just punch into the 3, sending the 3 rails back down table and holding the cue ball behind the 9. That is a pretty viable shot, I think. It's not bad. You just do a little stun follow, and you want the cue ball to just follow forward about 1 inch so it gets nice and tight behind the 9 ball. That might be the best option here rather than trying to get risky. Nope. Let's see what he's doing. Nope, he's going right into the ball, and that was the problem. Is you're coming off the 9, and then you're dealing with the 6, and I'm sure they had looked and talked about the safety opportunity there, because it did look like it was available to go full into that 3 ball and send the 3 ball around 3 rails up table, stunning the cue ball and holding it behind the 9. But maybe that just wasn't as good of an option as it looked on camera, so they decided to go for the offensive. And there we go, Mike D with a big-time rail first shot on the 4. Looks like the 5 does pass by the 8 to the side pocket. Not sure what kind of angle he has or if it's perfectly straight. If it is perfectly straight, he should be able to go forward past the 8 and get on the 6. He's got just a little bit of angle. He might be able to do a little bit more with it. Looks kind of touchy here. He's pointing his cue like behind the 6, short side on it. So that tells me he maybe has a little bit of an angle. That worked really well. SHUCHENG kind of shakes his head and lets out a sigh of relief because the scratch was definitely in play there, and he avoided it. What happened there? I don't know what that happened there. That must have been a miscue. It must have been a miscue from Mike D on that shot. It's the only thing I can think of. Huh. A little bit of a surprise. Let's see if Brett can manage to figure out the 6. And Blake is showing him how to do it. Maybe getting the cue ball. Yeah, here he goes. That's the shot. So he's basically saying, bank the 6 right here and send the cue ball, try to get the cue ball down this way behind the 9 with some spin. And you've got some blockers. Okay, he's calling the pocket, but sometimes you just call the pocket anyway, even though you're playing the safety. Let's see. No, yeah, he's just going to call the pocket, play the safe. Well executed shot from Brett. He got the angle and the speed just perfect. That 6 is flush to the rail right at the second diamond. That's exactly where you want it to be. So SHUCHENG calling the 6 ball. He's going to try to kick at this. That's all he can do. Really difficult kick shot to come in perfectly to cut the 6 into the corner. And this is one that you just have to make. There's really no backdoor safety here that I can see. Being that the 6 is on the rail, there's really nowhere for it to go that's going to hide. I mean, unless you barely kind of clip it or something and it stays close to that rail and the cue ball comes down the other side. This is really, really tough. It's got to come around the 10. Oh, good try. He had to come in really thin on it. So ball in hand for Blake Baker. Very nice reward for the excellent safety from Brett CAVAZOS on the previous turn. Brett played it perfect. I tell you, these guys are going to be tough to beat in this tournament. As good as Blake breaks the balls and plays, and if Brett can hit his high gear, these guys are going to be really tough to beat in this tournament.